Hyundai has just revealed their new chiseled 2021 Tucson, and it's easy to see the resemblance to the Elantra, which we talked about a while back on this channel when you look at this design language. But has it gone a little too far this time? Well, in this video, I'll walk you through some of the spec and tech about the 2021 Hyundai Tucson, give you the numbers, but only for a minute, because we're gonna need a lot of time to discuss what this channel is all about, the design. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's TheSketchMonkey here. The 2022 Hyundai Tucson for the US will, for the first time in the US, come in both a hybrid and plug-in versions, which means it will have more power than the outgoing model without losing any of its efficiency. Hyundai also confirms that there will be an N-line trim level for the new Tucson to join the Sonata and the Elantra. And the N-line, as you know, is Hyundai's equivalent to BMW M cars, Mercedes AMGs and Audi RSs. Basically a beefed up version of the tamer base trim levels. The Hyundai Tucson goes on sale in Korea this month as a 2021 model, but it won't arrive in the US until the middle of next year as a 2022 model. On the inside, full digital instrument cluster is a significant update from the old version, and it looks like it's kind of just sits there behind the steering wheel like an iPad on its side instead of conventionally being buried deep inside the dash. As an option, you can get a dual screen infotainment system with a 10.3-inch display and no physical button whatsoever. The standard infotainment system is an 8-inch screen, and it includes Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and of course you have Bluetooth connectivity. The standard engine in the 2022 Tucson will be Hyundai's 2.5-liter 4-cylinder with 190 horsepower and 182 pound-feet of torque, hooked up to an 8-speed automatic. More engine options will be available in 2022, such as a turbo 1.6-liter hybrid with about 230 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, giving the Tucson a little extra punch off the line. But let's cut the nonsense here and talk about what really matters, the design here. So this is more of a revolution over an evolution. It's bigger, wider, and of course sharper than its predecessor. The mission of sensuous sportiness is what Hyundai calls this approach. It means it's meant to elevate the emotional qualities of automotive design. We want our customers to feel moved, they say. And this progressive design here was of course inspired by Hyundai's Vision T SUV concept from 2019. You can definitely see the resemblance to the concept, and this is a typical, in my opinion, transformation from a concept to a production car, where you kind of lose some of the proportions and the stance of the car, and specifically the wheels become a lot smaller to fit a production, but still it looks pretty similar to the Vision T concept. So what's special with the Tucson design here is that it wasn't designed by using traditional drawing and sketching methods. Instead, Hyundai's designers developed the design elements through geometric algorithms produced by advanced digital technology. This process, known as parametric dynamics, utilizes lines, faces, angles, and shapes to basically style the car. This gives the car geometric patterns known as parametric jewels all around the car, giving it a unique character for sure. This to me is a new way of looking at car design, because what makes car design special to me compared to any other type of industrial or product design is that a car, when you're looking at it, it always should have some sort of personality. You should feel something when you look at a car design just by looking at the styling. It should tell you something about what it is and what the car can do. And I think that's lacking here with the new Tucson. So let's say if Italians create emotional vehicle design with curves, proportions, and lines clearly made by modern artists, then I would say this is the complete opposite of the spectrum, with a design that doesn't invoke a lot of emotions by its styling, but feels more like a cool gadget or a piece of consumer electronics. Is it a good or a bad thing? I'm not so sure, but I think there is a place for this type of styling and approach to design in the car design world. So let's quickly jump into Photoshop, because there are a few design elements here that I want to show you and highlight on this car. Alright, so here we are, of course, inside of Photoshop. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that this front end here, it looks a lot like the Mercedes ECQ, I think it's called, the electric SUV for Mercedes. And yes, I can agree with that, but at the same time, if you look at cars within one segment, there is always things that you can say look like one or the other. If you look at the segment of mid-size SUVs, for example, and you look at the front graphics, if you strip down all the graphic elements and you strip down to the basic geometries of the front ends, they all look very, very close in design, and this is the case here too. But Hyundai has some fun here and played around a lot with some cool graphics, which I appreciate, and it's always fun to see when manufacturers do things like this, for example. So these are the running lights that you see right here on each side, and when these turn off, they will look exactly like the rest of these design features right here, these plastic parts. They will become black as well, turning the entire front face into a black mesh of these shapes that just makes up the front face. And another thing that's very, very trendy right now, which came in, I would say 2018, 2019, is the fact that you have the running lights up here in the top of the grille, and then you have the main headlights down here in the bumper underneath those graphic lights at the top. What this does is it's an opportunity for car manufacturers to create a very distinct looking fascia, because you can do pretty much whatever you want with the shape up here, because the function of a headlight is sitting still the good old squared shape of those down in the bumper that no one really cares about. But to create the face and to create the identity of the car, they use the top part right here. You see this in Hyundai's, of course, the Kona, for example. Also Chevy and Kia uses this approach as well with the Seltos, where they have the lights up here and then they have the other massive headlights underneath the running lights. Overall, I think it's a good looking face. I love the graphic treatment of this front end because it's so different. But as I said in the beginning of this Photoshop session here, is I think it looks like a lot of other small size SUVs. There still hasn't been this massive radical change in the proportions and the volumes of the car. We're still keeping the same type of volumes of the cars, but we're playing a lot more now with graphics of the car, because we have new opportunities and new possibilities to create with lights just like this up here, because we still have the old-fashioned lights down there in the bumper, so it really doesn't matter what you do above that part. So let's have a look at the rear here. It's a very clean looking rear. There's same thing here. It's a very traditional looking rear end, except for the graphic features. And of course, here, if the front had the trend of having the headlights in the bumper, the big trend that we see here is, I think you know what I'm gonna say here, is the light bar that stretches all across the width of the car. This is something that's been around for maybe 4 or 5 years now, and pretty much every single manufacturer nowadays has at least one model where you have a light bar that stretches all across the width of the car. Nothing wrong with that. I actually like it, and some cars they integrate it better than on others. For example, Porsche, of course, one of my favorite light bars is even on the Cayenne. It looks very good, and the new Macan as well. I think it's integrated in the overall design of the car in a beautiful way with the Porsches. Here it works as well because it's a very static looking graphic feature. This you have the same kind of width of the light all over the place, even the same width right here, and then you have these small triangular lights that goes on and off. So when these are off, you're not gonna see that there are any lights here, these smaller ones. When they are off, it's all black, just as you have in the front as well. And then you have hidden exhaust, which is something that I think is going to become more common as we move towards electrification. Of course, there's gonna have to be some other element, or maybe not even a replacement for the exhaust, maybe just cut them out of the design like they do here. but you also have this diamond pattern going across, as we can see down here in the lower part of the rear as well, that goes around the whole car. You have the same kind of pattern in the front as well, and in the side of the body of the car, which you can see right here. And this is where things get interesting, because to me it feels like they kind of inverted the shoulder line here. They have a long line right here and then a short bump right here. Usually, if you look at a traditional design from a side view like this, you have a short line like this, and then you have the longer line stretching this way. So it's almost as they decided to just try and invert this type of styling, come up with something new and just have some fun with this computer generated design, as they talk about. Another thing I want to touch on here is the chrome trim piece or accent detail here, which is this line right here. And what this does specifically, if you get the Tucson with the two-tone option, is that it will create a visual effect that makes the car look lower than it is. Because if you have the two-tone, you can get the top part, the roof of the car. This whole car, I'm going to show an image here, is all black, and the rest of the car is a different color, of course, since it's two-toned. So what that does is, if you have this shiny piece here at this point of the car, that will make it look like the top of the roof here, the top part doesn't even exist because it's black. And visually it's going to look a lot lower than it is if you have just a single color all across the car. It's a very cool, very interesting and fun play with graphic design. Now, there is one thing that kind of annoys me with this side view here, and it has to do with these two dominant lines right here. Because of the angles of them and the relation of those angles to each other, it seems like they are so close in angle to each other that I either I want it to go either way. I want it to be more of a difference between those two angles, or I want to have them be parallel. But this is like, it's so close that you're not sure if it was intentional that they made them different angles like this. You have to really look closely to see if they are at the same angle, because it's very hard to tell. So what we can do here to kind of fix this issue, or satisfy my own feelings about this design, is to just duplicate this layer. And let's see if we take the front angle, for example, and give it more or less of an angle down there. So we have more of a closer to 90-degree angle, something like this, and have it be more separated from the other line that we have behind it. And that way maybe we can have some more separation. It becomes clearer about the design intent. What we're doing here is just making a decision that it is supposed to be at this point, and it's supposed to be at a different angle than the line at the back. And that to me is kind of less annoying. You can see the before and after right here. We just tilted that angle up a little bit more towards 90 degrees and more basically to separate it from the rear angle. But overall, I kind of like what Hyundai is doing right now. They're doing this pixelated style, and they're coming up with a bunch of new concepts that I'm looking forward to see. And if this is what computer generated design is going to look like in the future, I don't mind it. But at the same time, we cannot move away from having cars having some emotion connected to the designs. So what is my final thought on the Hyundai Tucson here? Is it traditionally beautiful? No, it's not, but it stands out in a crowded market, and that's exactly the goal that Hyundai had with this design. And to me, the 2021 Hyundai Tucson is a prime example of overstyling. But in this case, I think it's okay, because as I said before, I think there is a place for computer-only generated car designs, but only for certain brands. At the same time, the 2021 Tucson is a great example of what happens when you remove the human element from the design process. It's like something vital gets lost along the way. And more importantly, it reminds me of how much of an impact a simple car sketch by hand with pen and paper can have on the overall outcome and the feeling of a car design. Thank you so much for watching. I'm TheSketchMonkey. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.